All right, welcome back, everybody. Foul Mouth TV, episode number 3. We got a good one today. Going to talk about some of our experiences with our blind last year. We're going to start with how we started off, the improvements that we thought we made, and then we're going to go into what we're going to plan on doing this year. So I got Sean with me, so we'll go ahead and jump right in. Last year was our first year that we got our rice blind. We went into it with zero experience with the rice blind. We hunted refuges nonstop up until last year. So basically, when we got the blind, we started to do a lot of research, watch a lot of YouTube, see and try to emulate a lot of the things that we seen or heard from people. So first off, the biggest thing was, how many decoys do we need? So we went, and I think we rolled out with maybe 200 maybe decoys starting off.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So we started with that. Funny story. We get the blind. Now there's a point where they cut all they harvest the rice, right? So there was a point where the field was dry, and you're able to drive your truck out onto the field and go directly to the blind, and you can brush it up, you can throw blinds, you can throw decoys into the blind, so once it's flooded, they're already out there. You don't have to boat them out there. I think we struggled with that later in the season, walking through mud on a sled, trying to carry as much as we can. I think our blind was 170 yards from the road, basically. So it was a trek. Even though the check was solid when we were going out there, I mean, you're carrying 50, 60 pounds of decoys and then making multiple trips in waders.
Trying to get it all in the least amount of trips you could.
Yeah. So, let's see. Me and Brandon were the first ones that went up when the field was dry. And then we cut a bunch of toolies. We made these PVC frames, and we made little lean-tos on them. And basically, we took some like temporary fencing. You see like the orange or green temporary fencing. And then we took a bunch of toolies and cut them down and kind of zip tied them too, and spray painted the frames and stuff like that. So we set that up. We kind of thought, like, man, these look actually, and they did look pretty good when they were brand new. Now, once the weather started hitting them and the flipping them over, moving them around, laying them down, they started to get pretty flimsy, and then our cover started to diminish. And then once that started to happen, then we really started to brainstorm.
Yeah, and those also didn't cover. We didn't make them wide enough to the blind we were in.
Yeah, correct. You got to get a little bit closer, or move that a little bit closer to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing was that the cover started to diminish like greatly. And at first, you heard us talk about in the first episode or second episode that we had a lot of action beginning of the season. And I believe that was due to having like a good amount of cover, that fresh cover. And then the birds really started to flare. So, kind of going back to the decoy setup, when we bought all the decoys, we was like, man, that 200 or whatever we had, 200, 250, it's like, that's definitely enough. And when we put them out in the ponds, it made it look like there was literally like a dozen decoys on each side. So that was one that was one thing that we we started talking about like, man, we need more decoys. The pond basically swallowed them up, you know? So once the cover started to diminish, we started brainstorming and looking to see what other types of cover was out there. I mean, there was all type of different ideas. There were the roll tops, the flip tops. Some people weren't even using cover at all. They were using kind of like the ghillie style, like blankets, and kind of hiding up underneath them. You know, with our check, we had decided that we wanted to mow our check, and we just kind of thought our when we talked about it, our mindset was if we have an overgrown check, that's more lost birds, right? Because they can get into it, crawl into it, and we'll never find it. And we didn't have a dog last year either, so I think that was our main issue, or our main concern is if our check is overgrown. If we shoot birds, we wound them, they get into the grass, we don't find them, right? So that was a huge obstacle for us that we foreseen per se in our mind at the time. Now, with that being said, it made our blind stick out like a sore thumb. All the cover, everything around us was bare, and then you would see
Our
the blind.
covers.
Yeah, you would see our blind cover. So, you know, think about it, hindsight, right? You kind of sit back after the season's over and you kind of start thinking about these things on what you think went wrong or what you think didn't work. And that was one of the main things that we talked about, was, hey man, I think next year we just need to leave the check overgrown, and then we fill in and try to blend in with that. Another problem we ran into with the check being mowed was it just turned to straight mud,
Straight mud.
you know, and
Walking in
it,
and out.
yeah, and it became a pain in the ass. We were slipping, and what should have been a pretty easy walk towards the end of the season turned into like we were out of breath about time we got to
Yeah.
our blind. So, you know, with that, you know, we started later in the season, we started dumping rice straw on it.
Yeah, with it being mud, that was another thing where you just seen it was all mud looking with your cover. So that was another, stick out. Another thing that stood out was a big old mud patch where we're going in and out from the blind or whatever to retrieve, and then you see the little bit of cover, and then we did do the rice straw, but once you throw that out there, that's all fresh looking. So then
Yeah.
you see,
Yeah. And I mean, when we got the rice straw, we went and got a few bales, I think, first.
yeah,
And then, you know, and I'll post some pictures of our blind when we had it all dressed out with the rice straw. And I got some pictures too. I'll show you guys the pictures before where we had the PVC frames and the toolies kind of lined up, you know, zip tied to the frame. But yeah, we put rice straw along the whole entire check as much as we could, and I think we had at least maybe 5 or 6 bales, probably even more.
I think it was about 6.
And shit, that was a pain in the ass getting that into the pond, dude, because they were 70 pounds each, probably.
Every shit.
Yeah, and we were trying to float 2 of them in
At a time,
a
and
sled.
Then the sled tip a little bit, take on water, and then those fuckers got really heavy.
Yeah, for sure. It made it look better, you know. When you guys see the picture, you're like, man, it looks pretty good, right? It looks nice and neat and whatever, but it stuck out because I think we only had maybe 25 yards on each side of the blind that had rice straw.
You'd have to you'd have to run that shit.
You'd have to run it the
check.
whole way, right? And then our flip top had a different type of grass that kind of didn't fit in with the rice straw.
Yeah, it was a little different color.
Yeah, and it stuck up kind of too high. So it really stuck out. The birds couldn't see us per se, because we were hidden very well. but we just didn't.
We didn't
It
blend
stuck.
in with
Yeah, we didn't blend in with anything
how it's
around us.
supposed to look
It was
around
all rice straw, and then you had these roll tops that were sticking straight up. So hindsight, we just that stuck out way too much. Also, kind of want to get into stomping now. For those of you who don't know what getting your field stomped means, it basically starts the decay process of the rice stalks. Now, they have this big machine, if you guys can find it on YouTube, of people doing it when they flood the rice fields for hunters. They have this machine come, and basically it's basically a big monster truck with basically steel tires. That's the best thing that I can get to. That's the best way that I can explain it. And what it does is it basically turns over the ground, and it breaks up the stalks that are still left from the harvest. And that way, there's some pros and cons to stomping the field, right? So if you get your whole entire field, your whole entire pond, stomped, what you'll have is you won't have any rice stalks for your decoys to get caught on. That's the big thing, is if you have a lot of rice stalks popping up, and you have decoys in, and when you have wind moving through, your decoys will actually get stuck on these stalks. So it'll
turn sideways.
They get turned sideways. They get caught up. They don't move fluidly, right? And it just, in your mind, you think that it sticks out, right? So last year we had our whole entire field stomped. Now, like I said, the pros to that was getting those stalks out of the way, and our decoys had fluid movement when it was windy or we had ripples on the water, right? Now, the downside to that is it makes the field super soft, right? And I mean, every step is ankle deep. And when you sail a bird and your field is 150 yards wide, right? That's a long walk in ankle deep mud. And we struggled big time with sailing some birds last year. And I mean, I don't know how many times we came back and from getting a bird and flopped out on the check, like, Jesus Christ, dude, I'm fucking tired,
Big windy.
Yeah. So, what we were talking about it, earlier off camera. We had, after our second episode, we got off camera and started talking about it, and I was like, man, we should have just kept the camera rolling. But we were talking about maybe along that check, leaving about maybe I don't know, 10 to 15 feet of ground that wasn't stomped, right? And then for the next like 50 yards outside of that, stomp that, and then the rest of it, leave it. So basically just have like a 50-yard strip going through the length of the entire pond that's stomped, to where we can put our decoys, they can move fluidly, they don't get caught up in these stalks or whatever. And then, since this year we plan on leaving our check overgrown, we don't walk and trample the check too. So we'll get into the pond, walk that in and out, and that way we keep the check uniform all the way through, and then hopefully, we don't, that check stays natural the whole entire the whole entire season. There'll be some decay in there, right? But it'll look natural.
And then if it does start to get a little nasty around or stomped around our blind, we could always pull from the ends of our check from the overgrown shit, because we really didn't have much.
We didn't have nothing.
We didn't have nothing to pull from.
Nothing.
We had to go down the road and get.
Yeah, we were pulling off the side of the road, and
stuff, and that's not even. Yeah,
And the check before it got mowed, and I seen it before it got mowed because
Yeah.
John took me out there to look at it, and the check wasn't even toolies.
Right.
It was just weeds,
Okay.
right? So, um, you know, I think we use what's on the check for our cover. We take our flip tops,
Yep.
we get them out there this year. We trim off the edges, off the very edges of the check that goes out to our blind,
Right. Yeah.
and we put whatever's on that check, we put on our flip tops, on our roll tops, right? Now, last year, we were looking into the roll tops and the flip tops or whatever you want to call them. There's a brand name that makes them, and I'm not going to say it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just a frame. You push it over. You can see underneath it. You can see through it. You guys know who I'm talking about. But Sean fabricated some, and I mean we rush ordered that. That was like
Yeah,
what,
it
a
was
2-day project.
streamlined.
It was a 2-day project.
Yeah.
On her, we need
But we
these.
need to
And
swap over.
yeah,
It did. However, we made it. I mean, a shit ton
yeah, it made a
better.
difference, right?
as far as functionality, like
Yeah,
and durability. Because the PVC worked. It worked fine, but it was more of. I mean, how many you were dealing with, like 4 panels, 5 panels per 2-man blind
yeah,
instead of spanning the whole
yeah,
2-man blind
yep,
on each side.
yep. And that was another thing we did. We had a 4-man blind, but it was 2-mans combined. Now I don't know. I keep forgetting to ask, but I don't know if ours is a solid 4-man or another 2-man. But still, having the 2-man thing is perfect, really, because even if you're hunting out of that 4-man, you only need the 1 pound, the 6-foot panel on each side, right? And you can kind of play with whatever it is, and it's just less weight to try to fling over.
Right, for sure.
But yeah, our plan is this year to use what's on the check, put on that panel, change the position of it.
Yep.
Because last year we kind of had it to where it was kind of peaked, directly over us. So we kind of had to, like, if there was birds above us, we kind of had to, like, kind of look through the actual interlocking or kind of crossing over of the grass that was kind of hanging off the top of the blinds or whatever, top of the roll tops. And it kind of hindered our vision too. And then that grass that we had on there kind of hindered our vision as well.
Yeah.
So, we're going to leave some space in between the bundles of weeds or grass or whatever we put on those roll tops so we can have more visibility, and then kind of change the angles of those so they're kind of matching. Yeah, or match the angle of the check, right? So if we got weeds that are standing 5 feet tall, we're gonna try to emulate that to where we can kind of see through, and then we can either knock down or we can figure something else out. It's something that we're gonna have to see.
Play with for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see it
because it's definitely on our mind.
Yeah, we're gonna have, I mean, and that's the thing is, like, we're always like thinking and scheming, right? We're just like, so something right here, yeah, in the whole entire time we're talking about, what we can improve on. It's a constant. It's just a revolving door of like ideas that get spit out. And you kind of just gotta roll with it. You gotta read what you're seeing and kind of go from there and bounce ideas off of each other. There's never a stupid idea, right? What about this?
And we're not all going to agree.
Never
on the same setup either.
No,
we all want something different per se, but I think it all just, we got to start somewhere,
and that's with anything, right?
Yeah.
Decoy setup, decoy placement. Logan likes to have a certain species of duck all together. Me personally, I haven't seen anything that supports that or my side either, right? Like it doesn't matter, right? Haven't seen anything that supports either side, right? But if you do, and another thing, this is what I want to do too, is I want to stop by some of those ponds that nobody's hunting where you see, 1,000 ducks in there and get some binoculars and just look
How they're all
and just look.
congregated
Yeah.
in there.
And just see, like, are they separated by species? Are they mingling with each other? Are the geese over here by themselves? Are the coots kind of mixed in with them? Where are these birds? And by species, do they mix in with certain birds only? Or do they tend to stay to either themselves or one or two other species?
Right.
So that's another thing too, is just getting to that point to where you're actually looking at live birds.
Yep.
And I think it would be pretty cool, especially, take Owen and have him like, let's go look at, some birds and give him some binoculars and he'll probably have at it. Right. And that's the time that we can sit there and really 30 minutes looking
Yeah.
at shit.
If we're up there
Yeah.
after a hunt or whatever and we're driving
Yeah.
back, see it.
For sure. 30
doesn't
minutes
take
looking
much.
at shit. I'm like, okay. I see what's going
Yeah,
on here.
Instead of driving by and just being like, damn, this is where they are.
Yeah.
It's some bullshit. Why are
Yeah.
they 2 miles down the road?
Yeah, for sure. So another thing we did late in the season last year was I think we ended up getting like another 100 and some decoys.
Yeah, you ended up added, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Almost doubling
Yeah.
what was out there.
Yeah, we had
Again, I didn't contribute shit to the decoy spread. I was telling them before, it was whatever. When I first got into it, I think I bought a 18 pack.
Yep.
From what's the spot there in Concord?
Tangle Free.
Tangle Free, and I'm like, cool, I got 18. And it's like, what the fuck's 18?
And it
gonna
just
do?
disappeared. It disappeared
Yeah.
in the spread.
So I thought it was funny, but I think that was my contribution for decoys
Yep.
last year.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And so, kind of late season, I think we added like 150 more decoy to the spread. And really, I don't think it made much of a difference. It may have made a huge difference
earlier
in the season
when there was more flight, maybe.
Yeah. But and maybe I think this year we're going to play with our configuration. I don't think we're going to put all of our decoys around the checks. I think we're going to spread them deep into the ponds, some on the outskirts, some kind of in the center of the pond. We're talking, a pond that's 150 yards wide, 250 in length, 300 in length, right? So I think if we kind of emulate, and that's another thing too, we have a road that we can walk down that there's birds in all the time. There's ponds that there's birds in all the time. And there's some, when we seen all them pintail, if you remember that, they weren't all huddled up on the check. Right. They were through the entire pond. Right. So, maybe we take that into consideration. Right. These are all thoughts that has to go through your head, like looking and seeing live birds and how they're, flock together or they're huddled together. And that pond that we seen, it was the whole length of the pond and the entire width. They were spread out. Right. And, in order for us to do that, we got to have 1,000+ decoys. And
we'll get there.
To be honest, I ain't sitting.
No.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna get one of these strong, strapping 18-year-olds that like to get on Facebook and say, "Hey, I'll set your decoys, blah blah blah, this and that." Yeah, come here, sir. I'm whatever you charge it, go ahead, knock it out. Clean up too.
Have at it.
Yeah, because clean up was a bitch too. Yeah. It took us. We were cleaning up. I think we cleaned up over 5 or 6 trips. Every time we went up, we were pulling 4 or 5 dozen.
Yep.
But back to the way setting up decoys and playing with that configuration. I think we'll do that. And like I mentioned in some of the previous episodes, we didn't prepare for all the snows that were in the area. So Obviously, you can see the snows behind me. Got a 4 or 5 dozen of those. I think we'll set up kind of on the outskirts. We think the snows like to hang by themselves, so we'll test that theory. And really, don't really want to have to perfect calling snows, which I got too many goddamn calls on my on my lanyard. The pintail whistles, the widgeon whistles. 3 different duck calls, spec call. I don't think I have the capacity, and I haven't perfected none of them. Your son has perfected the pintail whistle. So has my son. He's 6 now, but last year started letting him blow the pintail whistle from Sutter Basin. It's a pretty easy, foolproof whistle. So if you have chance to get that pintail whistle from Sutter Basin, I'd definitely recommend it. But I not a master of any of the calls, and adding a snow call wouldn't. I just it would take away from all the other 14 calls that I have on my lanyard. So the thought behind that is, hey, if they see these snow goose out in the field by themselves, I just need them to try to start landing.
Yeah, come on
and
down.
hopefully be close to the blind when they come over. And just pick them off.
Yeah, there was a shit ton that flew by. And how many did you end up shooting?
Out of our blind, just the stragglers, I think I shot like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just no calling. It was they were on their way somewhere else, and they just happened to be low enough, right? And we missed there was one group, and it's another thing, is just being able to ID birds right away. It's just something that is going to come after time. There were some that came when my father-in-law was out, and we thought they were swans because we had been fooled by some swans coming in. Now, when swans are coming on head on, and you can't see the neck, it's hard, right? Because snows kind of have the black around their in their grin and shit like that. So you kind of mistake them at first, right? But then you kind of see the size, and they'll kind of turn. You can see that neck, right? Or if you can't hear them either, you're still kind of like, and you gotta wait until they get there. Now, obviously, this is just us being inexperienced duck hunters, and some of them experienced duck hunters can be like, oh yeah, those are swans from 200 yards away. We're not at that point yet by far, right? And if we can get, there was a group of snows that came in, probably about 20 that came close enough to us, and I was on the east, very far east side of the blind, and you were on the very far west side, and you had the closest view to them. But trying to look through the blind covers too, I was poking my head up trying to stay hidden to where I didn't find, alert them or whatever. And then by the time they came in and kind of veered off, it was kind of too late, right? But I feel like kind of in those situations, if we had a group, a large group of snow decoys, they kind of either could have hit, kind of circled around, because, the birds work, they circle around, right? So if we can catch them on that while they're working, that's all I need. Yeah. That's just give me a shot, dog.
Yeah. Give us a little extra something.
Yeah. But that's another thing we want to work out. Now,
did we talk about throwing swans in there too?
Yeah, that's another thing we talked about. Yeah, we want to throw some swans in there. No more than really. You need four to six really. And then last year we seen a lot of coots, and they were on the very outskirts of the ponds. And I mean, like
damn it, on the roadside.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, basically on the road, and you know, we kind of want to emulate that too. Get a bunch of coots and kind of put them on the outskirts, you know, together in their little group, and just basically emulate what we seen last year in a lot of the ponds that were um had a lot of life in them, right? Um, excuse me. But yeah, so you know, a lot of things that we've. I mean, there's a lot of information that we fucking downloaded
For sure.
over
Over
last
those,
season.
yeah, one couple months.
Yeah, and you know, coming into this season, you know, we want to make sure that we're keeping our our check overgrown, being selective on where we stomp the field, decoy placements, different species as well added to the spread. Another thing that we kind of talked about is changing the anchor points on the actual decoys. So, and this is just a theory that we're going to test, right? I've seen some old timers talk about it. If you have all your decoys pointed one way, let's just say they're anchored. Normally, you anchor them from the front, right? I think we have some right here. They're anchored right from the front, right? I've seen people post videos of ducks getting ready to take off because they were spooked, and all the birds point one way. So the theory behind that is, if all the birds or other birds come flying over and they see all the birds pointed one way, they think that they're getting ready to take off, so they skirt, right? So I think we're going to change our anchor points on half of our decoys to where they're all over the place, right? And if you really look at a field of ducks that are happy, they're all not pointing the same way, right?
They're all over.
They're all over the place. They're this way, that way. So that's another thing we're gonna fuck around and find out, right? And so I'm excited. I'm excited to do that. I think that's gonna be a huge variable that kind of gets those ducks to feel comfortable enough to come land in it. Last year with decoy placement, we had a bunch on the check, and then I think we maybe had, how deep do you think our decoy spread was from the check? 25, 30 yards?
Yeah, I'd say out to 30.
Yeah.
35, maybe 40.
Yeah. And maybe 70 yards, 75 yards, like wide on the check, right? And once again, all anchored the same way and pointing the same way. Now, and then we had one huge hole in the middle in front of the blind, right? So on both sides, yeah, north and south.
Runway.
Yeah, basically. And for most of it, the birds kind of came down that runway, but they never finished, right? So something,
a select few times.
Yeah. So, you know, something spooked those birds or made them change their mind at the last minute. I'm not going to land here. Was it our blind sticking out like a sore thumb? Was it all the birds pointing one way? You can't tell what it is. There's so many different variables, right? So I think this year with our decoy spread, I think we make multiple gaps that these birds can land in, and I think that'll give us more opportunities as well. So it's just the thought process that goes into this. We're taking shots in the dark, and that's all this is let's find what actually works. We're all new hunters and just trying to navigate through this on how to be successful as we can, right?
As best successful as the times we get out there.
Yeah, I think we
We want the most opportunities for sure.
Yeah, with all the money that
And
we
all
spend,
time,
time, money. Yeah, it's
effort.
hard. Yeah, it's hard to, you know, we enjoy hunting to the point to where we're not. I guess you say heartbroken when we come back and we haven't shot a duck, or we didn't shoot what we felt enough. Right? We enjoy the sport that much to where it's kind of like fishing, right? There's been plenty of times where we went out and gotten skunked, but had a good time sitting on the boat, drinking brews, talking.
It doesn't
right?
take much to get you addicted right back to it.
Yeah, I'm out doing what I want to do.
Yep.
I'm not, cooped up, or I'm not at work. I'm out here and it's just me and the boys and we're shooting the shit, right? And that's that enjoyment of the sport, right? Now that the ducks is just that extra, icing on the cake. But the goal is still to shoot as many birds as you can. That's in the back of your head. Like, dog, I want to shoot me a motherfucking limit tonight, right? Or this morning, and trying to do the right things to give yourself that opportunity is the name of the game,
for sure.
Right? So, yeah, a lot of different, different things, just different angles, different opinions, different strategies. It's all kind of, roped into this whole entire duck hunting thing. Now, another thing I would like to start keeping track of is kind of weather. Especially if we get locked into our blind. Let's just say we get into our blind this year, which is a new blind, so we haven't hunted it before. Let's just say we shoot like shit all year, but that potential is there, right? And let's just say we start keeping track of weather patterns, moon cycles, whether it's wind direction, right? Because some blinds shoot well in the south wind, some blinds shoot well in the north wind, some shoot well in the east wind. We got a floater. There's a roll of paper towels right there next to his thing. But yeah, just keeping track of the weather, and I do that in that app that I was talking about. I think I can find it and let you guys know. I think it's called North American Waterfowler. But you can mark, North American Waterfowler. You can mark and document your weather patterns and stuff like that, and it has everything down to the wind, what you think the mileage of the wind was, rain, cloudy, sleet, whatever it is, right? And compiling that data over, and then it actually you log it in with your actual hunts, so you can start seeing like, man, the east wind is really like producing, and then you can really dial it in to when the birds are going to be there. And then also it kind of gets into just where the birds are at too. Like there's some times where I went up there by myself, dude, and I was competing with another blind south of me, and they had 4 callers in they had 4 people in their blind, and I was trying to call against them, and it just wasn't working because they had all the noise, right? And there were so many birds flying there, and there was just no specific direction that they were going. It was kind of like if you remember the Jetsons, how the highways, all the cars used to be going. That's what they were doing. And talking to one of the guys, he was just like, dude, this was definitely like a prime like migration day. The birds were moving through here. And I'm like, dude? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, dude. You guys were smacking them.
You guys did great.
I couldn't compete with you guys calling. And I mean, they were making noise too. There were teal whistles and pintail whistles. They had two people on pintail whistles and then 2 on teal whistles. And they were they were beeping and chirping like a motherfucker, dude. And I just couldn't. My one whistle didn't do it.
Help to track it to them.
Yeah, didn't do it. And I mean, I can hear them too, and they were on it. And I mean, they would come over, they would come towards me, and then you can just hear them hitting it, and they're just like, nope, see you later. We're going over there. It's popping over there. So you know, it's just knowing the weather patterns, and getting that and linking that to success too. It's kind of
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird because you got to get real like scientific with it.
Inept into all the details. For
All of
me,
these-
I mean, it's great to know all that for sure. But you know, I'm for sure getting up there whatever free day I got. You know,
Yeah, I'm just hoping for the
whether
best.
it's a stormy day or a fucking nice hot day, I'm up there.
Yeah, and hopefully now with the pintail limit increasing to 3, I hope that we get a good amount of pintail coming in
Yeah,
because especially late season too.
it seemed like that's all that was there
Late season,
in the late.
yeah. And if you can go out and shoot 3 Drake pintail,
I'm good.
can't get
That's
no
a
better.
day.
You can't get no better than that. Can't, right?
Happy we're shooting one, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
you can't get no
there's
better.
no more scared like let me
Did
not
I
shoot.
did I maybe miss ID
Yeah.
a bird? Like I've miss ID'd and it sounds kind of stupid. Some of the senior hunters that may watch this sounds kind of stupid, but I've miss ID'd a hen pintail for a teal, green wing teal with all the brown, and the black feet or darker colored feet. Yes, I know there's a size difference, but when you get birds coming in feet down, that excitement kind of supersedes, kind of like your vision, your clarity. You're just ready to go. But I've mistaked just seeing all the brown, the flash of the brown, as a hen teal. But just hopefully being able to work on identifying birds. Now I've gotten better over the 4 or 5 years that I've hunted for sure. There's some times where birds have come into our face and I've been like, yeah, those are widgeon. And I was, 80% sure, but there's certain things that I'm picking up on, whether it's the flash of white on the wings when they're coming in. Necessarily, a lot of times the widgeon come in, they coming in too fast, and you kind of don't have time to focus on if it's a drake, you don't have time to focus on the white stripe. You kind of have more time to focus on the underbelly, right? And it's kind of like, where do I, how do I positively identify that bird? And I think it just comes with time.
With time, for sure.
With time, right? And I can spot a pintail in the sky, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely a pintail. You can see the curvature on the back side of the wings. You can see kind of the point. Sometimes necessarily you don't always see the sprig coming out, but you see the way that the bird is shaped from underneath, right? I can be like, oh yeah, those are sprig. You can tell the length of the neck, right? Teal, obviously, them things they pop all over the place. Like those are teal, 100%. Widgeon kind of blend into that teal. They kind of blend in with a teal almost, and then into like a pintail too. They kind of depending on how you catch the sight of either the flashes of white or whatever it may be. So it's easy to kind of get them mixed up. And then if you mix in gadwall with that too, gadwall kind of resemble a hen pintail as well. Even like a hen, the beak has some orange on it, but you just see the brown, and then you kind of associate, oh, that's a hen pintail or whatever. But then you end up shooting it, right? And you're like, oh, that's a gadwall. It's a Drake gadwall at that, right? Because the Drake pintail has some black on the beak, and you see, not mixing the Drake Gadwall with the Drake Pintail, but it all kind of blends in with uh, Gadwall, hen Gadwall, or hen teal, green wing. It's all kind of, they all look the same. They're just kind of bigger,
Yeah.
right? So just getting into that and just still working on positively identifying the birds is a thing that as you kind of settle down going into your like 4th and 5th years, you start to focus more on, hey, I actually have more time to shoot than I think that I do. And I have more time to look at the bird and figure out what it is before I shoot, right? Instead of
Too
panicking.
excited. Yeah, like, oh shit.
That's a huge thing. It's just like panicking and be like, oh, birds, get up,
Yeah.
shoot, and then you're like, what was it
What
that I
was it?
shot? Right. So knowing that you have more time than you actually think you do, you gotta pre-train yourself pre-shot.
Right.
Like,
Slow it down. It's hard to do sometimes.
yeah. But kind of back to our plans for the blind this year. There's a lot of things we're just gonna fly off the hip with.
Yeah.
Um,
And on top of decoys, what we talked about, the other main, obviously keeping that check the way it is, undisturbed. But just getting out there preseason or early season and setting our cover up
yeah,
during day,
yeah,
not like we did.
yeah.
What was it last time when we did the flip blinds or flip panels instead of the PVC?
That
Well,
was
either
early.
way,
That was early morning when we set those blinds
you're
up.
right.
It was early
Like,
morning,
Oh, we'll hunt the morning and then set the shit up. I was like, fuck that.
and it
Let's
was
set these
raining.
up. Let's set the new shit up because
Yeah.
this is gonna make the world
Yeah.
of difference.
Yeah,
Just this one time. I don't
yeah.
know if it did, but
It was raining that morning.
but it was kind of a your
It was a
eyeballing
hurry.
shit.
Yeah, it was a hurry because we were kind of running behind
Yeah.
on shooting time.
So getting all that set up with not rushing and looking at it, thinking about it, talking about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna be
It's gonna be way better.
way better.
The not rushing is gonna.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to
Not-
set it up, look at it, and be like, nah, I don't like that.
Exactly.
Set up, adjust it,
Walk back to
walk
the-
back
Yeah.
50 yards back or whatever, see if it blends
Because
in
that's when
correctly.
you really see shit.
Yeah, yeah. And then just having that time to like, set up like that time when we. So last year we had went up and we were gonna hunt the first weekend that we had it available to us, and me and Logan, we went up and it had been raining. It had been raining pretty hard, and it flooded our main road. Now this road goes to actual refuge, and we're past the check station of that. We're probably about a mile and a half past that. That whole entire road completely flooded over. Now they had closed that road that night. Me and Logan bypassed the closure sign and went in there. And I think it was like 8:00. So it was pitch black.
Oh,
And we went in there because we wanted to hunt the next day. And we went in there and we were just headlamps. And I think we threw out 150 decoy that night. And I mean, it was miserable, but we got it done. We wanted to hunt, right? And the next time we went out there and hunt, we was like, holy shit, we were way off on our spread, so we had to do some adjustments. But if we would have and it was our fault, we couldn't get people up there to go set up,
Yeah.
right? People had work, kids, sports, whatever it may be, to where we couldn't get up there, and we were trying to hurry and do it the night before, which I want to make sure that we don't do that
Correct.
this year.
I want to just be ready.
I want to be able to get up there the day before we want to hunt, actually spend the night, because we'll have a trailer up there, actually spend the night, take our time, set out the amount of decoys that we want, set them in the configuration that we want, and then get up the next day and hunt it.
And stand there all proud and shit.
Like we did it,
20
right?
minutes before you get.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, me and Logan were soaked, man. We were,
Yeah.
you know.
That was rough. I met you guys up.
Yeah.
I was driving up while you
Yeah,
guys
you
were
came up that night
setting
after.
up, and
Yeah.
fuck, that drive sucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let alone be out there trying to set up all the damn decoys.
Yeah, it rained hard. It was windy too.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then we ended up we didn't end up hunting because we were being pusses.
Pissed
Right?
out
Yeah, we
on-
pushed out. We were man enough to go past the barrier to go set the decoys, but we didn't fucking man up and go the
to
next
do the
morning.
hunt.
And
We're like,
our thought on that was there's gonna be some highway patrol like sitting here waiting
Or
to see
whatever.
if we're gonna go past it, right?
new to the area, so
Ended up
try to respect it, but should have went by that. shit.
ended up the following trips we never
Yeah.
abided by that, but
And neither did other people. So
yeah, so getting, you know, next year hopefully, or this year hopefully we can get out there with some decent weather, and hopefully it's not hot,
that too.
right? So I don't want to
We
be
need a
out there
good cleaner.
sweating. I need about a good like 50 degrees.
Yeah.
I can put my waders on with just a sweatshirt.
Overcast.
Yeah, with just a sweatshirt. And then I can get out there and not sweat. We can take our time, spread out. And then hopefully the next day we can go out and hunt it. Hopefully the next day it'll rain and be windy.
Yeah.
Right? The perfect scenario, but
It's gonna be that way. It's gonna
yeah,
work out. that
yeah,
way.
perfect scenario, but whatever.
It's owed to us.
So, you know, dude, hopefully it works. I'm hoping that everything can line
All
up.
that
Hopefully we can get participation from everybody kind of at the same time, because it's hard.
Yeah,
You know,
when just two people go.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
I seen it last year.
Yeah.
I was the one not helping in the beginning.
Yeah, I think everybody helped, but it was off, right?
Right.
There was two people doing stuff here, and two people doing stuff. One person doing this over here. It just never, you know. We have to this year. We have to prioritize all of us working on one thing at one time,
Yeah.
right? So
And I think we will. I think.
Yeah.
I think we have
Yeah.
a very good game plan.
yeah,
What we just talked about.
yeah. So I think if we do that, it'll make it a lot easier. And then we can get more things accomplished too. So, yeah, I can't wait. It's getting near.
Yeah, I'm getting excited. I'm starting to see the
Weather
starting to
change.
just see
See the birds in the air.
the change of season. I
Yep.
should say.
Yep.
Fishing shit's going away.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
It's not, but
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, we have the club barbecue coming up. That's October 4th, I believe. And then after that, it's really like, it's like
Go time.
just 2
better
weeks.
have all your shit.
Yeah. It's 2 weeks to the season from there.
Get all them cobwebs off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 2 weeks from the season. So, I mean, really, we're basically a month. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the season starts on the 18th, which is,
It's the 19th
or
today.
19th, yeah, but you know, so it's close. So, you know, got to get the last minute preparations done and really get to it. So,
I'm ready this year.
yeah, dude, I've been
Fucking ready.
I've been itching, and I like I said, I'm excited because I think we're in a better spot. So I'm ready to take all our learnings from last season and apply it to this season.
Yep.
And I think we'll also come out of this season and have a shit ton of more
Input.
material on what worked, right? We'll have this conversation next year on a podcast on what we think did work, what didn't work, what we want to do this season. We may move to another blind
Yeah.
next season.
And maybe none of this shit even matters.
And may not. Maybe we're like, dude, our fucking blind sucked,
Yeah.
right? And maybe we just suck as duck hunters,
That
right?
too.
So, you know, with that, we can go ahead and end it. This is our quickest podcast. I for sure thought this was going to be a 2-part, and there's going to be some.
Oh, if Logan was here, that'd be a little more.
Oh, it would be. But
He'd have a lot more to say than me.
Logan, you're a puss for flaking out.
Yeah.
I wanted to put out another one before. I wanted to make it kind of 3 in a row, but it didn't work that way. But whatever, we'll get the content out, get the conversations out, get them going, and hopefully people have gotten a good amount of information from this, and just our thoughts on our train of thoughts, like what we're constantly thinking, and kind of see how we think about it. And I know there's other people out there that have blinds that have the same conversations. They just they just don't catch them on.
Talk about them.
Talk about them.
Put it out there for everybody else to kind of nitpick and maybe throw out some pointers.
Yeah, for sure.
Some input.
Yep.
What are we looking like next? Where are we going?
I don't know. I think maybe I want to talk about gear next. What we like swear on, right? There's some gear that I swear by, like that's saved me from some torrential downpours, right? I guess
that would be a good combo to have.
So we can do some gear. We can do what we use for decoys. We can even get in more into our blind cover. Like maybe I can put some more detailed video up on what you fabricated. Sean's an excellent welder. That's what he does for his trade. So anything that needs to be fabricated, he's the one that's doing it. You know, Beheem.
We're all doing it.
Beheem is a fabricator too, but that guy's a bum and he disappears.
But you gotta be present to do shit.
He gives us. I gotta post the Beheem face.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into gear next, and then I think after the gear talk, you know, just what we used, whether it's jackets, waders, guns. I want to get what guns we shoot, what ammo we shoot, what we prefer, what chokes we're using. There's several different chokes among us. Get into some of the calls that we use, and then hopefully the next one will be post us setting up our blind, and then some video will come out with that. I'll start to film that on what we're doing, and cutting down weeds and putting them onto our roll tops and zip tying them and this and that, and setting them into the ground and how we feel, they fit in with the surrounding cover, and then getting kind of a visual of that so everybody can see what that looks like. And then the rest is just, where's the result?
Yeah.
Right. And then catching
that. Shooting shit or
yeah,
not?
Yeah. Catching the result, and then
have shit to shoot at.
Yeah. Catching the result, and then talking about it. And then some of these podcasts will be like post hunts, and then those will probably be 10-15 minutes, which really is what I'm kind of looking forward into getting into.
Right.
Some of these pre-season podcasts are kind of going. We just let it flow, right? We just roll into new topics and new talking points. But with these post hunt podcasts, they're going to be direct to specific to that hunt, and kind of just what we've seen. And sometimes we may not do a post hunt podcast. We might do a post hunt podcast for 2 or 3 hunts together. So just keeping that communication up with everybody watching, and letting them know what we're thinking, what we're seeing, what we're learning, and hopefully they can take some of our thoughts and kind of apply it into their everyday hunting, repertoire. Or, I can't think of the word, but routine per se.
Their basket. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that part. In season.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us. Once again, subscribe to us, Foul Mouth TV on YouTube, foul.mouth.tv on Instagram. Once again, my name is Anthony. They call me Hoon or Calhoun, and we got Sean with us. We're missing Logan, and we'll get Beheem on here sooner or later. But yeah, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you on the next one.